Hello, very good evening to you. University students could face a summer of chaos after lecturers rejected a new pay offer. Exams have already been cancelled and coursework left unmarked since a pay dispute began 3 months ago. Now unions have turned down a deal worth 13.1% over 3 years, and they're warning of tougher measures, even strikes, as 300,000 students prepare to take their finals. Claire Marshall reports.
They may be smiling, but the stress for these Liverpool University students isn't over yet. They've done all the hard work, but they don't know when they'll graduate. The academics unions have rejected an improved pay offer, and the university exam process is in chaos.
It's causing endless problems for students now. Our exams are finished a few weeks ago. We don't know if they'll get marked yet. It looks like now they're probably waiting for a good few weeks, if not longer. And as a final year student, I really want to graduate. And for a lot of my friends, that means, a case of can they get on their master's courses, their PhD courses, can they take up job offers? And I just don't know what's going on at the moment.
We don't appreciate being treated like pawns. We're an uninvolved, innocent third party who have nothing to do with the situation, and we can't control it, and we feel we're being punished for something which we have no control over.
A marking boycott has been going on since March. Academics have been refusing to grade coursework, and universities have been forced to cancel exams. The academics say that their pay is well below similar professions and doesn't take into account the extra cash provided by top-up fees. The unions have been offered a pay rise of 13.1%, but they want a 23% rise over 3 years. 4 in 10 universities are being affected, but the unions are standing firm.
Any student who believes that this is something that needs a quick resolution needs to give support to their academics in their fight to get fair pay, and academics are simply asking for the promises made to be honoured.
The misery for students isn't likely to end soon. The university employers believe that their offer is fair and that the unions should put their pay deal to their members. But the unions say that they'll not only stop marking papers, but could go on strike unless they get the pay they want. Claire Marshall, BBC News.
Dr. Steve Wharton is president of the Lecturers' Union, the AUT. He's in central London now. You may not get a lot of sympathy for this by turning down a 13% pay rise. How would you justify that, Steve Wharton?
Good evening, Emily. I think we need to look at it in a broader context. What we're actually talking about is an erosion in the relative value of academic salaries of about 40% over the last 20 years, and we're looking at some catch-up and keep-up. So what may appear like a generous offer in those circumstances is actually not quite as generous as it appears to be.
But you're looking for 23% over 3 years. It's unlikely you're going to get that, and meanwhile students are stuck in the middle trying to cope without having any finals marked.
The 23% that was put forward was a negotiating pitch. Now, this was something that we put forward as part of an original package that we wanted to discuss with Vice-Chancellors as long ago as the beginning of October. And since submitting the claim in October, the first time we actually sat down to formal negotiations with Vice-Chancellors was 2 weeks ago on the 8th of May, because they refused to talk to us until that time.
So if you admit that's just a negotiating pitch, where would you really be happy then?
If you don't mind me saying, I'd much rather have the opportunity of explaining that to the Vice-Chancellors. The biggest problem is that they don't want to sit down and talk to us. We held our Parliament, if you like, our council, where representatives from across the country were present in the immediate aftermath of the initial offer back on the 8th of May, and they were clear then that it was unsatisfactory. We spent 23 hours in ACAS last week trying to get this logjam cleared. And we thought on Friday at the end of that process that we were possibly in a position to put something better to our members, which is why we went back into negotiations yesterday. But the Vice-Chancellors are still refusing to engage in a purely in an absolutely honest and clear open book exercise. What we're saying is, we know that there's an extra $3 billion or so coming into higher education over the next 3 years as a result of tuition fees and other income that's coming into the country. Vice-Chancellors got some of that money by telling government that they were going to put some of it into pay.
Yeah.
We're saying let's sit down and have proper discussion and negotiation so that we can do it. We're actually more than ready to look at an independent review into this, and the Vice-Chancellors are dragging their feet on it.
Steve Wharton, let me ask you, many people will empathise with your big picture, but the bottom line is this is a conversation presumably you're having to have with students who may not appreciate the fragile differences involved when they're facing a summer of career chaos, potentially.
Well, surprisingly enough, in view of the piece you've just shown, the National Union of Students is behind us in our quest for more money. They want to see a rapid resolution, and so do we. I'm more than willing to leave this studio now and sit down in negotiations with Vice-Chancellors to break this logjam. It's in nobody's interests for this to continue, but the fault that we are in the situation we are at the moment rests firmly and squarely with the Vice-Chancellors, who have refused to sit down and negotiate with us.
Dr. Wharton, many thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Later on News 24 tonight, we'll hear the employers' side of the dispute. That'll be about half an hour, 7:30.